Alright, so today I'm going to be talking about Sandown this weekend. Obviously, the Eclipse Stakes, one of the premier 2,000 metre Group 1 contests of the season, and the Coral Charge as well, the 1,000 metre race. And then at the end, I'm also going to talk about the Group 1s at Belmont in America, the Belmont Derby, the Belmont Oaks. Obviously, Charlie Appleby sent a horse for each race over with William Buick riding, which might be a bit of a sensitive topic for some, but I think William Buick's a much better jockey than those guys over there. And obviously Europe have better turf horses, so it makes sense that they're going there. But we'll talk about the Coral Charge, 1,000 metres, Group 3. Kind of an interesting race, to be fair. Asphora comes here, and I'm pretty sure this will be her last race. What hasn't she done? She's won the Abay at Longchamp, the Nunthorpe, the King's Stand at Ascot. And then she went for her third run in the race this year. And to be fair, I thought she ran really well. She kind of loomed up, but just died a bit on her run. And it's the sort of race where, if it was 2 years earlier, she would have won probably. But, she's a 7-year-old now, and she's going to come here, massive drop in grade, going from a Group 1 to a Group 3. And, she's probably the best horse here, but she's also 7. She's past her prime. And I think she's ready to be a broodmare. So I don't think she can win this race, unfortunately. As an Aussie, I hope she does, but I don't think she can. Then you got Words of Truth, who is actually a Group 2 winner. He won the Group 2 Mill Reef Stakes as a 2-year-old, so he probably wasn't quite ready for a Middle Park Stakes. And obviously they had that other horse. I think Wise Approach was the one that they had that ended up winning it. So he's a pretty good sprinter, although I think he was a rung below as a 2-year-old. He obviously spent the winter in Meydan, where he came second to Flying Comet at I think it was $1.40 or something, which was a pretty bad look. And then he won last start at Lister level over 5 furlongs, so they might have realised that he's more of a sharp sort of 5 furlong type of horse. And he comes here, he'll obviously get a decent weight allowance, but sometimes in these sprints I want a really tough sort of ready to go sprinter, and I don't know, I'm not sure if I really trust a 3-year-old in this sort of race. And then also you've got the likes of, Rumstar, Shagran, who's gone a bit out of form. Just these seasoned sprinters who are probably not Group 1 horses, but they run very well in these Group 2s, Group 3s, listed races. But the horse I like in this race, if she goes here, because I don't see a jockey booked at the moment, is Beautiful Diamond. Now, she's a really consistent 5 furlong horse. She's run at this level all season. And her only bad run was in France, where she missed the start, and they went really, really hard, as if it was an 800-metre race, I thought. They just went so hard, she never really stood a chance. And then in her last few races, she's been thereabouts. And I think, if she goes here, 12 to 1 is probably a good price. I'm kind of thinking she won't go, judging by the fact there's no jockey and it's 2 days away. But she's a really nice horse. If she goes, she'll have a bet, I think. And then, as I said, it's just more of these sorts of horses like Mitt Bahi, who I think might have raced over 6 furlongs earlier in his career. Gold Deer, who's a bit of a handicapper, who might surprise. Savannah Hurricane, seems a big price at 33 to 1. But yeah, I think if Beautiful Diamond goes to this race, I think she's a really interesting bet to have, because I think a lot of these up here, there's a few question marks around them. As I emphasised with Words of Truth, he's a 3-year-old, and I think you need a more sort of battle-hardened horse. Although a 3-year-old just did win at the King's Stand at Ascot, so I'm probably talking out of my arse a little bit, but yeah, I think Beautiful Diamond will be my bet for the Coral Charge, and hopefully Asphora gets home safely, being her last race, most likely. Now, move on to the main race of the whole weekend. No, not the Coral Distaff. Although, to be fair, I think Pacific Mission, she ran an absolute belter last start. She'll probably win, but I just don't have much interest in that race, to be honest. Now, the Coral Eclipse, 2,000 metres. We've seen some absolute superstars win this in the past, like See the Stars. City of Troy won it 2 years ago, coming off a Derby win. And Delacroix won it last year. And then he went on to win the Irish Champion Stakes and then place in the Juddmonte International, So this is just a great race. It's a bit of a small field, and it's kind of disappointing to see only 2 British trained horses here, because I don't think, 3 British trained horses, which is still quite disappointing. But, it is what it is. Aidan O'Brien has the favourite. Constitution River, French Derby winner. And obviously Aidan O'Brien's won this race with 3-year-olds the last 2 years, so he's very rightfully the favourite here. But for me personally, in these weight for age races where like the older horses carry more weight. I kind of like, I want to have a really good look at the older horses first because they're just that bit more developed and they're more seasoned, and this is what these races are for. They're more for them. And so the horse I like is Gethin. I've loved this horse since he was a 3-year-old running on those like novice races. I think he's a beautiful horse. I keep thinking of racing blogger talking about Field of Gold, like calling him like a big beautiful grey horse whenever I see this horse race. He's just a star, Gethin. I think he's a Group 1 horse. He ran within like a length and a half of Ombudsman last start. Although Ombudsman wasn't fit and carrying more weight, but still, Ombudsman, like, look, did you not see his win in the Prince of Wales? It's fucking ridiculous. I just love this horse, Gethin. I think he's a Group 1 horse. I think they could go up to 1.5 miles with him, but they're going to go to 1.25 miles, and I think he seems like a really good horse. I think he could win this. I'll be having a bet on Gethin. Obviously, Constitution River could just win, and Ballydoyle are going to do what they do. They're going to go really hard. They're going to try and do their like little routine thing. Although, to be fair, I'm not sure how they're going to run Hawk Mountain, because I feel like the vibe from Ballydoyle has been that Hawk Mountain and Constitution River are kind of like similar sort of ability. And so, yeah, it'll be interesting to see if, Hawk Mountain goes forward. I'm kind of thinking maybe Causeway. No, not Causeway, sorry. So he'll go to, I think he might go to the Grand Prix de Paris or something. But Flushing Meadows is meant to go. I think Flushing Meadows will go like hard at the front. And Hawk Mountain and the favourite Constitution River will like sit back a little bit. That's what I'm kind of thinking. I don't think they're going to sacrifice Hawk Mountain in this race. But I think Gethin's an absolute legend. I think he's just going to... I could just see him winning this. I could see it like everyone saying, like he beats the team at Ballydoyle and stuff. And James Dawes like doing some cool celebration. I don't know. That's what I think. But yeah, I'm going to have a bet on Gethin. I've loved this horse for a long time. And he gets his big day here in the Eclipse. Now I'll talk about some of these others, so there's not much else. Obviously, King's Gambit is here to inject some pace for Gethin, although I feel like he's largely not really needed because Ballydoyle's they're going to go forward, aren't they? So he's not really needed. And then a boy named Susie, like I've really liked this horse. He was Group 1 place as a 2-year-old in that 2,000 metre race at Saint-Cloud. And he was 4th in the French Derby. He came flying home, like it was way off the pace, and he came flying home. Very eye-catching run that. And then he'll go here. I think it might be too hard for him. I think he's more of a mile and a half horse, but his breeding suggests otherwise. He's by Star Spangled Banner, so they probably don't want to, test his stamina too much. And then Sedard, who's, a pretty good horse, but I feel like he's not on the level of these two, Constitution River and Gethin. And I think Gethin's going to, out-hustle Constitution River in the finish. I'm hoping, at least. But yeah, it's going to be an absolutely blockbuster race, the Coral Eclipse. To be fair, last year was a fucking amazing race, wasn't it? Ombudsman looked home, and then Delacroix came from absolute streets back to win the race. So it's going to be great. It's going to be amazing. I think Gethin rolls Constitution River. All right, now we'll move on to... there's a few other races this weekend. There's the Lancashire Oaks, where Tiffany is a really short price favourite, and I think she'll just win. And then I think there's... that might be it. There might be some races elsewhere. Fucking Sunday, there's the that Group 1 at Saint-Cloud, the Grand Prix de Saint-Cloud. I'll probably now have a look at that, but I'll just talk about Saturday night, the Belmont Oaks, 2,000 metres, or 1,800 metres. For the 3-year-olds. There's some good American horses here, like Imagination and the Lady, who won that Group 2 on Kentucky Derby weekend. But I feel like when you're looking at the form for a race like this, and you just see a Charlie Appleby, William Buick, European horse, placed in a classic, like you just have to back it, like immediately back it. I just think, and she's ran on good ground, so I think the ground shouldn't be too much of an issue for her. Abashiri was just an easy bet to have here. I got on as soon as the market went to non-runner no bet, I think she's just going to win here. Assuming William Buick doesn't find too much trouble, because I remember the last time he was riding here on Notable Speech in the Maker's Mark Mile, it was one of the, pretty bad ride, to be honest. But, I can forgive jockeys pretty easily, and I think, if he doesn't find any trouble on this horse, he should just win on Abashiri. Obviously came third in the Irish 1,000 guineas, so, I think Abashiri is an easy bet to have there. And I'm going to continue with the same logic as last time. For the Belmont Derby, 1800 metres. Good American horses, but Pacific Avenue, easy bet. He was third behind Gestard even last start, so it's just this form is streets ahead of the American form, I think. And as I said before, if William Buick, keeps it simple and doesn't find too much trouble, I think it'll be like a big Godolphin weekend at Belmont in these 3-year-old races. And also Title Roll comes here, who's quite an interesting horse. He had quite a good horse in Dubai over the winter, and then comes back to Europe. I think he ran it okay in like that race in Newbury, and then won the German 2000 Guineas last start, which I don't think is that strong of a form, but I get it's a good sort of race to win, I guess. But yeah, I think and he's got Johnny V on as well, who's one of the best American jockeys in my opinion. But yeah, I think that German 2000 Guineas form isn't as strong as a third in the Irish 2000 Guineas that Pacific Avenue has, so I'm going to lean towards him. My only issue with Pacific Avenue is that he's by Dubai, so he might be more of a miler, but I'm happy to chance this here, and I think it might be like a big, as I said, a big weekend for Godolphin, Charlie Appleby, William Buick at Belmont. But yeah, that's about it. I think is the field out for the race at Saint-Cloud? No, I don't know. I think I'll probably have a bet on Calland again though, assuming we get like a good ground there or something. Seems like a good race though, to be fair. But yeah, if you like this sort of content, like and subscribe. I do quite a few sort of race previews, race plans, that sort of thing. So yeah, just like and subscribe, and I'll see you later.